Hi, I'm Dr. Tim Weir, and I gotta tell you, I love life. But when I'm not being a husband, a father, a grandfather, an author, or a practicing chiropractor, I'm the host of the television show Loving Life with Dr. Tim Weir. I love to cook. I love to travel. I like to spend time with people who do what they love and love what they do. Join me and Elvis for the next 30 minutes as we help you discover how to love life. I am so thankful for what I have. Healthy kids, healthy life myself, great business. But you know, there are always people around you right now who may be going through stuff that you don't even know. You don't even know what's going on. And I'm in the home right now of a little guy named Tucker. And Tucker, thank you for letting me be here today.
You're welcome.
You're awesome, man. Now, Megan, this is Megan's, she's Tucker's mom, by the way. Tell me, he's been diagnosed with a condition called?
PCD, which is primary ciliary dyskinesia, is what the letters stand for.
Okay, which means what?
It's a rare, it's an autosomal genetic disorder. It's ciliopathic, and basically it means that his cilia don't work in his respiratory tract, his sinus area, his ears. You also have cilia in your reproductive tract too.
Okay, and cilia basically are little fingers on the inside that move things around and actually absorb bacteria and stuff like that.
Move mucus. So he often gets a lot of mucus just sitting in his lungs. Because it's so rare, we use a lot of cystic fibrosis techniques. We do chest PT, where I just kind of beat on him a little bit in the mornings and at night. And then if he's a little more junky than normal, I'll do it an extra time or two a day. He also does 2 breathing treatments, one in the morning and one in the evening. And then he also does 2 inhalers every day. And then he's on an antibiotic Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, just to try to keep bacteria at a minimal.
Sure.
And then he's also has a real issue with reflux, like acid reflux. So he's also on, which kind of goes hand in hand with it. This is kind of his baseline cough that he has on a regular basis. So the struggle we've had is like at church and stuff, people are like, why is he coughing? He shouldn't be in the nursery, you know, that kind of stuff. So we run into that some, but we've kind of learned to just deal with it and go with it, and he's our little guy.
So this started when he was how old?
He got his first ear infection. The burping
goes along with it.
Yeah. He got his first ear infection at 3 weeks.
Okay.
All of my children have had ear infection issues, so we kind of like, well, it's a little young. We haven't had any that young, but, you know, and just kind of wrote it off. Well, then after that, it was just one thing after the other. He had tubes by 6 months. He sinus infections, pneumonias, RSV, you know, just every little thing. The kids came home from school with a cold and Tucker got pneumonia from it. Or he would start an ear infection and it just won't go away. Often it turns into, it gets into his blood, into his bones, into his mastoid, you know, just lots of hospitalizations. He's had 2 or 3 hospitalizations since,
And these are all the records from that? Wow.
Yeah, it's been a road.
Now, the interesting thing is this, is that you didn't give up. And from what I see, because I read through these medical records, you're kind of a...
Yeah, we kept getting, oh, it's allergies, oh, it's that time of year, he's a newborn, it's sinus season, you know, all that good kind of stuff. And I just knew it was something. I mean, there were weeks that would go by where he would only have a day out of the week that he wasn't snotty and junky and feverish. And I had 3 older children who I just knew. I knew something
you're a mama.
Just wasn't right. Yeah. And so we just kept pushing until we, you know, finally got referred over to UNC, and it was just, I felt good because the pulmonologist there was like, oh, something's not right. And she kept fighting for us too, so.
It's kind of nice to know what it is.
Yes, it is.
So you know who the enemy is.
Yes, that's right. it was definitely a huge relief. It was a sad day for me.
Sure.
But I will say that it was a relief to know that now we know what it is, and now we just walk forward and day by day.
So now we're involved here with a place called Special Spaces of the Triangle.
Right.
And it's kind of like the mini-me of
Extreme Makeover.
Extreme Makeover.
Yeah.
But they're going to come in, if we can get the support here for this,
Right.
for him to come and redo his room and
Yes.
make it more livable for him.
Yes, yes. And just be a special space for him to get away from breathing treatments. And we're going to make it completely free of medicines and everything. Just so
Sure.
a fun, just kind of a retreat for him to, hey, can you tell Dr. Weir what kind of room you're going to get? What kind of room is Miss Katie going to get you? A hunting room.
Wow.
Oh, he's so excited.
Well, and you should be. I can't wait to see it. Can I come back when it's done? Okay, thank you. So listen, I want to challenge you today. You know, the Bible says, given it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, shall men give back to you. I want to challenge you today. I'm going to start out the challenge. I'm going to give $100 towards this. I want you to do the same thing. Some of you may not be able to do $100. I don't really care. If you can do $1, if you can do $2, $5, $10, some of you, I know, some of you could do $1,000. Some of you could pay for the whole thing. I want you to step out and do something. You know, sometimes we get so involved with our own things that we forget that there's others around us who are suffering. Don't wait for the government to do it. Don't wait for your church to do it. You step out of the boat and you do it. And then I'm going to challenge you to do something. I'm going to challenge you to find somebody else other than him, and you give to that.
Yeah.
Kind of like your tithe to somebody else.
Yeah.
Do it right now. Go to this website. Make a challenge. I tell you what, let's get this little guy through this. And then we're going to go right on to the next person. You with me? Okay, because we're coming back. Is that okay?
Say yes, sir.
We're going to see your new room.
We can't wait.
All right, do it right now. Well, we're talking about something that I'm incredibly in love with, and that's chiropractic. I'm with Dr. Joe Saragusa
Yes, sir.
from the North Carolina Chiropractic Association. Thank you for being with me.
Thanks for having me.
And in fact, I think what we're going to do is call this from now on, because you're going to be here more, if that's okay with you.
Okay, I'd love that. Yeah.
Java with Dr. Joe. You've
Okay.
already got part of that you have put together
Yeah.
for chiropractors.
Sure.
So let's talk about chiropractic. Been around for a long time
Since 1895.
and works basically on the nervous system. Talk to me just a little bit about it.
Sure. Yeah. The short explanation of chiropractic is doctors of chiropractic are experts at examining the spine for dysfunction, areas where joints should move but they don't. Sometimes it's simplified by calling it a misalignment. Often it's more complex than that. But then those misalignments or dysfunctions irritate the nervous system in one way or another, and wherever the nervous system is affected, that part of the body won't have its full health potential. So doctors of chiropractic are experts at finding it and then removing the nerve interference, restoring function to the spine, and in the process, we're really good at relieving pain.
So but even more important, because people can go get a painkiller to relieve pain.
Absolutely.
You talk about nerve interference, and for the average person, they're thinking, yeah, what's that got to do with me?
Right.
So when we talk about nerve interference, we're talking about things like nerves that go to...
Every cell in your body is controlled by the nervous system. All the nerve impulses in your body start in your brain, travel down your spinal cord, out nerves to all parts of your body. The classic example that people are most familiar with is a misalignment or a disc problem or some kind of dysfunction in the low back. and that pinches or irritates the nerve that comes off the low back and goes down the leg, and people call that sciatica.
Oh, yeah.
But that's just an example of one of the things chiropractors do.
Because we're talking about the nerves going to the stomach, the pancreas, the gallbladder,
Every part of your
all
body.
of that.
Yeah.
Even the eyes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen patients with symptoms that resolved in eyes, ears, stomach, pancreas, colon, so all different parts of the body. The challenge is that it's not always predictable. So when a patient comes in, the chiropractor has to decide, is this a condition that could respond to chiropractic, and is there dysfunction in the area that would be causing this symptom?
Exactly.
If the chiropractor finds that, then typically the patient's accepted for care, and if the chiropractor can't make a case for a connection between the spine and the symptoms, then usually the patient's referred.
You know, it's common, I'll have people come in, they'll say, I've got a sister who's got this or that, can you help that? Yeah. And my thing is, if they have a bone pinching on the nerve and that's what's causing it, yeah, I can help it, but otherwise I can't.
Yeah, my standard answer when somebody says, can you help this or that, my standard answer is yes, if it's a chiropractic problem.
Exactly.
And the way you find out is you see a chiropractor and get an examination.
Which brings up a good point. Why would the average person need to have a personal chiropractor?
Yeah, that actually is part of the vision that we have for the North Carolina Chiropractic Association, which I'm the executive director. And we, in our vision statement, talk about tirelessly promoting the interests of our members and the patients they serve, and that everyone should have a personal chiropractor. And I commonly will meet someone who says, well, I've never been to a chiropractor, I don't need one, I never had back pain. And my response is, you don't need a chiropractor. People don't need a chiropractor, just like you don't need a dentist.
Right.
I mean, as long as you're willing to pay the price with ugly, decaying, painful, rotten teeth, you don't need a dentist. And the same thing applies, you don't need a chiropractor as long as you're willing to pay the price, which is eventual loss of your range of motion, stiffness takes over, nerves can be irritated, and really the grossest consequence is degeneration, where because the bones are scraping and grinding from being misaligned, you get advanced degeneration, starts with some disc thinning, spurs, and ultimately those bones can fuse together. So at that point you're relegated to the bump and feel method when you back the car up because you can't turn your head.
Exactly. So does the average need a chiropractor?
Well,
not if you don't want to feel good.
Yeah, if you're looking to maximize your health potential, maintain your body like you would maintain your automobile, you get the oil change periodically. Really, your body's designed to function without needing to see a chiropractor, but the coping mechanism is to fuse any area together that's misaligned and not working right. So that plus the nerve irritation that'll make you sick, that seems like a pretty drastic consequence to put up with. And that's, all you have to do is talk to people as they age, and that's exactly how it plays out. So we recommend everyone have a chiropractic examination, periodic adjustments to compensate for lifestyle, because we sit too much, we lift the wrong way, we let ourselves get out of shape. Mine is too much time on the computer and on the phone, sitting in the car. A periodic chiropractic adjustment is the best way to compensate for a lifestyle that causes a degeneration of your health potential.
Next time, on our next, I want to talk about this. Once you go to a chiropractor, you have to keep going for the rest of your life. Can we do that next time?
Absolutely, let's do it.
You're awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, next time, Java with Dr. Joe. I'm with one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, and that's Jeff Stockford. Jeff, I'm glad you're with me today.
Good to be with you, Tim.
I'll even shake your hand, man. Yeah, I know. Oh, sorry. Now, you're actually one of my favorite musicians because everything comes from the heart with you. And I just wanted to catch up with you and see how you're doing.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. Now, you started out in music at a fairly young age.
I was about 12 years old, and I saw a youth pastor down in Orlando leading worship with a guitar, and I thought, that's what I want to do.
Wow.
And he let me bang on his guitar till I kind of taught myself how to play, and he gave me opportunities as I developed, and I got hooked and been doing it ever since.
Now, so you really started playing the guitar and singing. When did you notice a flow into, oh, I'm hearing a song and it's nobody else has written it, and realize it's your song?
Well, I grew up as a teenager in the 70s, and it's called the singer-songwriter era.
Yeah.
And you were just expected to write songs. I think it was like a law or something. And everybody wrote songs, you know. When we had church, then we'd have the offering, and then it would be special music, not just music,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
special music.
Exactly.
And somebody would say, the Lord gave me this song. I'm not sure he did, but they would say that.
Yeah.
I imagine God saying, you can't pin that one on me. But I was just encouraged to write songs. It was just expected. If you play guitar, you wrote songs.
Yeah.
And so began doing that, and at the same time, just began trying to go from one song to another and make it a smooth transition, and just kind of go where I felt the Spirit was taking me.
Right. Right.
And it just kind of started by myself, and then with a couple friends, and just kind of developed that flow thing.
Well, and I think that's, you bring up an important concept of whatever you're around is what you're going to produce.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in a state of negativity, you're going to produce negative kids.
Yeah.
And you were lucky enough to have people around you who produced creativity in you.
Yeah, they brought it out. It was expected.
Right.
And I think you rise a lot of times to people's expectations. And so when you're around people that challenge you and that build your faith and believe in you, then you're going to draw things out of you.
Yeah.
And so I was in a good environment. I grew up in a bad environment in my home, but when I came to the Lord at age 12 and became part of the church in Orlando, Florida, I just was surrounded by people that really believed in me.
Wow.
And drew it out.
Bigger plans for you than you even knew about.
Yeah. They saw something in me I could never see in myself.
Yeah. Like flies.
Yes. I attract those. I'm very attractive.
So now you're in Wilmington, North Carolina,
Yeah.
pastoring a church there.
Yeah.
Did you ever think you would do that?
No, that was like the last thing. That was the scariest thing imaginable that God would ever ask me to do.
Yeah.
And music, did that most of my life, very comfortable with it. Didn't have to think about it. It was a gift that flowed. But having to come up with a message or 2 messages every week and feed people spiritually, and I mean, I didn't have a problem loving them. I felt like the Lord gave me a capacity to love and to pastor. But this has been the biggest stretch of my life.
Yeah. It's a good stretch.
Yeah. But it's never something I feel like I got this.
Right.
You know, it's like, Lord, are you sure?
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's where he wants to keep me.
You know, I wonder if Billy Graham ever thinks I got this, or if even to him it's a stretch, or if it's something that you grow into and just become used to.
Well, I don't know. It's like it terrifies me, but like sometimes I'll have weeks where I'm not teaching. I've got somebody else, and I'm kind of like a lion in a cage. Can't wait to get back at it.
Yeah.
But then it's just a strange thing, but it's terrifying, and it's very fulfilling, if that makes sense.
So you're going to sing a song today. What is that song?
The song is called "Leaving Familiar," and it's kind of like taking Bruce Wilkinson's book, The Dream Giver, And it had a big impact on me, and putting it kind of the story to music, because God was working in me, doing something, taking me out of what was comfortable, what I was used to, and He was transitioning me into this pastoral thing.
Yeah.
And though I didn't realize it at the time, He was preparing me.
Right.
That unless you are willing to move, God doesn't take you, He doesn't open a door and then take you and kick you through it or shove you through it.
Sure.
You have to walk through it.
Yeah.
And He was drawing me. He said, I've got more for you. One day the Lord spoke to me in my car. I had just read a passage in Scripture, and He asked me a question. He said, do you want to be the minstrel or the prophet? I'm like, what? And but what He was saying, He was challenging me. Do you want to just be the, or are you willing to take more on in my kingdom than you have before?
Wow.
And just over the years, He just prepared me to do what I was determined I would not do.
Yeah.
And now I'm doing it.
Wow. Thank you for being with me.
My pleasure.
Listen to Jeff.
My name is Ordinary, from the town of Familiar, living out a routine life. When something strange occurred, the dream giver came and placed a big dream in my heart. I guess that's where the great adventure starts. Familiar life is not so bad. It doesn't take a lot of faith. You simply do what you've done before. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, but the dream wouldn't let me settle for just the daily grind. So I headed for that city limit sign. And I'm leaving familiar, and I'm never going back. It would be so easy to turn around and give up on the dream. But what would I do about the hole it left inside of me? The folks and fellow citizens met me at the borderline, explaining the absurdity of leaving all I've known behind. Home is so much safer than the vast unknown expanse, and a fool like me would never stand a chance. Despite their pleas, I continued on my offbeat exodus. The journey has been long and hard, and oftentimes perilous, but faith and hope are still alive, however dark the way may seem, 'cause the dream giver accompanies the dream. And I'm leaving familiar, and I'm never going back. It would be so easy to turn around and give up on the dream. But what would I do about the hole it left inside of me? Along the way, I fought giants, and I've buried some things I've held dear. But the truth is, they aren't worth comparing to the dream and to the one who led me here. Dearest friends and relatives, I hope this letter finds you well. I'm living out my destiny, and oh, the stories I could tell. I hope one day you'll look inside and discover, just like me, never more alive than when you dream. That's why I left behind familiar, and I'm never going back. It would be so easy to turn around and give up on the dream. But what would I do about the hole? What would I do about the hole? Tell me, what would I do about the hole it left inside of me?